Doing a video, I'll just say when the formats are programmed in, there's additional things that you can hear with this processor. There's a relay switching. I think it's at the back there. I think it's at the back, those relays there. There's no other relays on this up there, and certainly not in the accessory unit. So I'm not sure if this camera will pick up, so I'll just try and be quiet. I hear it that there. There's no format on that. Yeah, I hear it there clicking. But no, don't hear the, what's it? Oh, I hear it there. Hear that relay clicking in there at that. I hear it switching there. But not there, because it's probably connected with format 41. I don't hear it there. But if I go format 44, I hear an additional clicking inside. Go to 49. Don't hear any other switching. Go to format 66. Yeah, it's kind of soft, quiet. Format 48, 68. Yeah. No, don't hear any there, because that's not programmed in format 10. Yeah, it's little quiet little sounds there. Trying to help out a guy with he's got another CP200, not saying who. Trying to get his up and running, because these are very very awkward processors to get up and running. If you got the manual with it, it's very awkward even with a manual. But first things first is the power supply. Does it power on? Turn the camera light off. And does it have 3 LEDs, negative, positive 14 and 24 volt, so negative and positive, and 24. That's the power of this, whole unit. If there was a fault when connecting the processor and the fuses started blowing on the 24 and the 14 and any of these down here, I can put the light on, any of those, oh yeah, it's 15, yeah, it's negative 15 and positive 15 and 24. So if any of those started blowing, they're quick blow fuses. I've got spares in here somewhere, tucked away down here in a little bag. So I've got spares. If those started blowing, one of the cards in the processor, could be any, could be any, could be any of these. If any fuses started blowing, got to do a certain procedure where you got to unplug all the cards, pull them all out, pull all the cards out, everything. And if the power supply powers on, good, that's okay. And then what then next to do is then pushing the cards back in while it's turned on, and just pushing the cards back in. It won't blow up or anything, you know, it's quite safe. As long as it's not connected up to audio, you won't get that kind of thumping sound, of that sort of typical thump sound. But push all the cards in one by one until the fuse blows. And if the fuse happens to blow, then you know, check that card, check it over, look at it, inspect it, to see if it's got a faulty component, which will be easy to repair. The parts are still available because this is all analog. It's not like it needs a digital DSP specific chip on it. So it's all parts are still available. I've had snags with mine. I've still got a snag. It's back there, these components back there. I think they got overloaded or such when I accidentally plugged in an SR card, but plugged it in upside down. So the cards have got to be in this position. And I plugged an SR card in, but I totally forgotten it. It was turned around the other way because they still push into the slot. They still push into the slots back there. There we go. That's better. There we go. Okay. So I think any one of those four, those control the optical input, the some sort of voltage sort of thing. It's a bit of a pig to desolder that, because got to take the unplug the whole processor, put it on the bench, pull all the cards out, and then I can get behind it and then desolder and then remove those components. And then it's finding new components to replace. But I've got a feeling they got overloaded when I plugged in one of the SR cards in up here. I think it might have been slotted in this section here, and I had it plugged in the I had one card plugged in, but I plugged in correctly. I don't know, to be frank, I really can't remember whether the card was plugged in correctly and the card was totally faulty, and because there was smoke coming out the card very quick, because it's 24 volt. There was smoke coming out of it and made a very weird sound on the processor, and it took out these cards here. I can safely pull that out. And it totally damaged the logic switching, these here, like a logic switching circuit. I was a real pig's ear to desolder these and put new ones on, and a bit of a real dog's dinner, because it lifted the circuit track, and you know, so it's bridging wires, testing the signal, if there's continuity, you know, between the pins, because there's a forget which way round. I can't remember if up here, up where there's ground, or if it's down there it's ground, and then the pins go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, and so on. There's a schematic diagram that shows how the switching thing works. So, but it was a real dog's dinner, that was. And it's a real, got to line these up with the track. Here we go. Push it in. Without those cards, the formatting won't go correct. And formatting is programmed in on these cards here, here, and here. So if I pull, say this is the non-sync card, there's dip switching down here. The guy that I know that's got a CP200 has got different dip switches. They're kind of rockers. They're not like these dip switches, so he's got an earlier version. Whether, you know, these cards may be faulty, or, you know, who knows. But, you know, you got IC circuits. I think that's some sort of kind of like resistor, that there. I think that's the type of resistor. And then, yeah, no, those are resistors. And then diodes down here, diodes, voltage flow, and diodes there. And voltage flow only goes in one direction. So you got they're kind of indicated by the colour, whether red or black in one direction. So it's very easy to wire these components, or test them for faulty with a multimeter. I've got to be very careful with these. Got to be really careful, because these are, you know. So if I put a format on number 66 and the meters go up, this one's purposely not moving, because it's only used for sub bass. But tone is generated 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think the other ones are on the cards up here for the surround. Okay, God help me. So I've just pulled this card out, and you can't see the other needle. You can only see this one here, and this one's not on because there's no connection. It's not connected, so the connections, hopefully push it back in, because it's the right side up. And the needle goes up, and just close that panel there. Just turn the fader up and down. let's just focus and turn the light off. Turn the fader up and unmute. It's a bit of signal noise ratio going through. Kind of like sonar. That's Dolby tone. What I can't fathom is I've seen the CP200 processor playing Dolby tone at the Empire Leicester Square on a video. FP30E or Fred, yeah, on YouTube. These needles are not spot on. A little bit indicating a little bit too high. Now, if I pull any of these cards out here, that's the switching card. I've got a few more of these switching cards. Shut back in. And I'll remove the other cards. Nothing happens. They still stay on. But most card I use often is where is it? Yeah, it's this one here. That's for my input. So if I want to run the sound from the AVR through the CP200, these are voltage headers. So you got 1 volt and 100 millivolt. There's just simply little bits of wire that's hard soldered, and all they do is make connections with the resistors. So every resistor may have a slight tolerance difference on its voltage, and when I've got a little extra time, I'll probably test through those. But there's another way round it. There's another way round it. Could use a variable resistor, but where would I connect the variable resistor? Adjusting any of these here. These are variable resistors. They have no bearing. They have no level change on these here. Oh no, sorry, not this one here. That's non-sync. This one here. This one's got no variable. But I could put something on there, so I could these. I've got lots more of these. I've got lots of these. I could put something on there so I can tweak the level. As far as I know, this should be down a little bit. But they're all, and that only indicates probably a some difference in the resistor value. Nothing else pretty much I could figure out that's probably doing it. Probably just other than the resistors. So probably I've got another one of these spare cards, so I'll probably make probably use one as a test, and so take hours, maybe a day or two. So I'll get the level, the voltage level. It should be on the little spot there. So it's a few dB high, that. It's very tricky, so I output the zone from the computer, output the zone 2 over to the Onkyo. I've got to switch that until it says multi-stereo. Okay, I've switched it on the remote. So multi-stereo. Okay, that's pink noise going in. Don't know why that's not lighting up. Probably the wire. It's probably the wire on the output there. It's probably loose. Yeah, loose wire. Turn this bloody head torch off. It's a very complicated bloody system. There we go. Torch back on. Oh, it's moving. It's a bit, still showing a little bit there. A little bit high on left and centre, and right channel's a little bit lower. So it's probably changing the resistors and use another card, and I'll go through getting the values, and like I say, it's testing and testing and testing until I've got the the signal. Alternative is if I change the fader dial on there, because that's got to be adjusted, and then that will adjust there. It's a bit easier to use a steady tone, 1 kilohertz. So got a 1 kilohertz tone playing, and again it's need this adjusting. I'm not sure if when everything's connected through the MPU1 that it will control the input signal to the meters, the meter filter card here. This is the CAT 109. Meter filter. I'm not sure if it does, because I'm not able to get all the rest of the parts for the for that. But maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Either way, I've got to change these resistors on this. So I'll use another card. I'll make some modifications. So and use a different type of maybe input test signal from a different source. Even though it's easy to adjust the level on the because it should be about minus. I think 300 millivolt minus around about minus 8 dB. So it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. Turn this light off. Just seeing how these look. A little bit low there, so it's only adjusting the card. Adjusting the level or the frequency on the EQ card, so they're all the same. But I don't do house EQ through that because I keep that try to keep the frequency response to get it more or less with pink noise. So there's 1 kilohertz sine wave there. It's a very tricky thing to align. Bit of a high frequency. It'll probably look a little bit clearer. There we go. So it should be a little bit flat. Because the CP200 does have a high frequency rise. So it's trying to match the frequency response more or less with this or that, or so it's trying to get it, you know. That's on processor mode through the THX monitor, so it's not on amplifier return. So it's trying to get this signal. So I'll mute it on the STDS. It goes down. So that's that for the moment.